Welcome back to Rest Hammer Forge. We're on Damascus Part 2. We're going to take our 23 layer billet, and if you remember in the last one we had that split happen where it didn't want to weld, well, this is how we take care of it.
Yeah, so the surfaces of this didn't weld at all, and so when we heated this back up, it just split open, and we took and just opened it even wider and wider with the chisel and allowed it to just completely fall off. Alright, so we're just going to take our 14 layer billet here, and we're going to draw it out with the drawing dies we got. Now the reason we go at an angle is to help spread that out widthwise, so it's not just lengthening, and that we're not like forcing almost a lap to happen on the sides, and that's going to allow that to spread evenly as you force it down. Now we see how it's starting to move really good now. This press really likes a smaller billet. That billet when we started out was a little big. It was a little big. You know, so this forging really goes nice and smooth here, and we changed to a flat dice here. We're going to clean up all of the fullering marks within this and just start, really drawing this out to the size of that. Now you can see I got my spacers up there to where I don't go down too far, so we're not getting this too thin, so we can't draw this out. So we're just going to square this up, and we're just going to continue working through the heats here. We're going to give it a little more pressure as we work this down and really start to elongate this piece. And what we're doing is we're scraping off that scale that forms. You can see it popping up, and sometimes on the surfaces here you need to scrape it off, just like you saw right there. So now we're really going to give the squish on this. It's still a gentle press on this. It's not super hard. We're not maxing this down and out. We're just taking it in small increments here, testing the welds. We don't want to overstress these welds. Even though they are set, we don't want to take the chance to overstress them. So we're going to take this down. We've got new spacers in there to a 1 inch by 1 inch bar. And that's what those extra spacers are on top of the big spacers, just to make sure we get that 1 inch. We don't go any farther than that. It'll bottom out, and we'll have a nice 1 inch bar. Now we're just chamfering the edges, making sure it's square. We got a little bit of a bow in this, so we take it over the anvil, and we try and take that bow out. It's a little cold, so it didn't quite work out, so you can see it bounce off the anvil, but it took enough of it out. So here, we're going to end up cutting our ends here. You'll see in a minute. We're going to chop off the stick, chop off the other end to make sure we get any things out. There it is right there. That's a 15-inch face right there. So we got a 1 inch by 1 inch by 15-inch bar of Damascus steel. That's 1084 and 15-inch. Now we're going to stick this in the vise here, and I'm just going to let it roll after this initial heat. This was not easy. This was a workout and a half. A 1 inch bar is really hard to twist, even hot. So I had to use my biggest twisting wrench here to even get it to go. And struggling a little bit here in the beginning, but we didn't want to give a really tight twist on it. This was the initial heat after having it cooled, so we want to just do a full 360 and then get it hot again. So here we go. Alright, we're back here at the presser. We're gonna squeeze the ends here a little bit to make a little bar to hold on to. A little bit of a nipple here so we can get it on the tongs onto it. A little bit easier to control at this point. I'm using really big duckbills on the other right now, and they're just kind of unruly. They're for really big stock, but if you can put a little hardy on there, a little square point on there, so you can hold on to it with some wolf jaws is probably the best bet until you get this thing down to a flat line. So we're just gonna press this out. I did something a little bit different than I normally do. I didn't really clean out the edges. Didn't really clean it up really well. I just want to see what happens with these, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have enough, of steel here to grind down through all that mess that is those twists. So it shouldn't hurt it too much. Now we're going to put one on the other side, and so we can hold from both ends. And we're just going to start squishing this down. Now we're going to go all the way down. We're going down for right around a 1/2 inch. Kind of squaring it up a little bit, making sure it's all the same thickness. And here in the next scene, what you're going to see is we're going to cut this in two. This is really long, and we end up getting basically, you'll see here in a minute. So we got two like 10-inch pieces. So we had like a 20-inch bar there, pretty nice. And we're just going to work each one of these independently. We have a anvil die on the bottom and a drawing die on top. And we're coming at an angle here to help widen these out, because they were only like maybe an inch, inch and 3/4 maybe, and we want to have right around 2 inches of width on this. So we're just going to draw these out. Now these are two just individual, so every other heat you're going back to the first piece. So this next one will be the other half of the bar. You see there. And I'm kind of learned a little bit here from the first one. I need to start at the end and then work out to where it's hottest. Managing your heats is really important with Damascus Steel. You don't want to have too many heats. Kind of move a little far with the filling bar so we can come back and take out that high spot stand right there. You're already going into the fire a lot with Damascus, so if you can really keep down the amount of heats that you end up working heats you end up doing, you're going to have a much better product in the end. So we just start drawing this out. Now we're going to lengthen it, going back. We're squaring out right now. We had the angles, so we widened it a little bit. It didn't quite get exactly what I wanted, so we ended up going back to the anvil here and using the hammer to really get it the width and the thickness that we want it to do. We're really drawing it out with those hammer blows, and in all directions, 360 degrees. So a couple heats here, and this part of the project will be done. That's pretty much it there, folks. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. We got some really good Damascus here so far. It's 14-layer twisted Damascus, and hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for part 3.